Hi, and thank you for choosing to be a part of leading in God's house. You know, as a city group leader, our focus as a church is to build dreams, ignite faith, and establish leaders that win the lost for the kingdom of God. And a win for us as city group leaders is seeing people in our groups take one clear next step in their walk with Christ. And so this training video is providing a resource for you to learn how to maximize our Planning Center app so that you can communicate with your group and that people in our community can choose to grow more and more in their walk with Jesus. Lean in level 10 because this group is about to take off.
Hi, my name is Jessica and I'm on the training team here at Planning Center. And today we're going to talk all about Planning Center groups. I'm going to show you how a member can access their groups, how an administrator can set up their groups, and how a group leader can manage their groups. But before we jump into all of that, I want to show you this handy dandy little question mark at the top right of every one of our products. On this question mark, what will pop up is these suggested articles, and they will show depending on the page that you're on. You can ask a question or browse our helpful documentation, or you can contact Planning Center support. They get back to you pretty quickly. Today, their average reply time at this moment is 62 minutes. So by the end of this training, they'll be able to answer any questions that you have if you email them right now. You can open a ticket to be able to email them. And if you see anything as we're talking through groups today that you feel like would be a great feature to add to groups, go ahead and open a ticket, send them an email, and let them know about the feature requests that you might have. We track those, and we want to make sure that we are developing features that will help you and your church. This training, at the end of it, will be available on our YouTube channel and at planning.center/university. So you can watch it later, or you can send it to a teammate as well. So let's jump into groups. Groups is an app that is all about, well, your groups in your church. It's for Sunday school classes, for life groups, for small groups, anything that you use as a group that you want to track. You can use groups for lots of different things, so let's show you some of those things that you can use it for. There are two sides of Planning Center groups. The admin side, which you can see here, and the public side, which we call Church Center. From the admin side, administrators and leaders can set up and manage their groups. And then on the Church Center side, people can find groups and members can interact with their groups. So I want to show you the Church Center side. From this admin page, we'll go to the public group list, and you can use this share button to be able to copy this link to put it on your website, or to just send it directly to people and they'll go to your public groups list. For now, I'm going to click visit so we can see what this page looks like. So this is Church Center. Obviously, it has our church logo on it. You can see all of our group types that are here. And Church Center isn't just available on the web. We also have it as an app that you can download for Android or iOS. The only difference between the app and the website is that there is a map. So whenever I go to the small groups, I can click Show Map. And I can see where all of these small groups are listed or are taking place. And I can see which one is like closest to my house so that I can attend that one. Now that's the only difference between the website and the app. So I want to show you what it looks like on the app. Most people are typically going to be joining a group from their phones. So let me show you what that looks like. Now from here you can see that my groups are the Johnson group and the Matusin group, but you can see that there are also other groups as well. And I want to find a small group. Now I could just scroll through all of these groups trying to find the small group that I want to join, or I could search with the name of the group that I know, or I can use these filters to make sure that I find a group that fits me. Now I am married, so I'll choose that for stage of life. I don't really care what day of the week it is that the group is. I don't need childcare, and I'm not really particular on the neighborhood. I don't mind driving. So done, and then I can see these groups that are filtered because of the filters I put in place. Now this was on Wednesdays, I can see, this one's on Mondays, and this one's on Sundays, and I know the Swinnies, so I'm gonna click that one. Now, Sunday at 4 p.m. is what time that they meet according to their upcoming events. So that works out for me and my family. And it looks like Callie is the leader. So I know her really well, and I would love to be in their group. So I'm going to ask to join. I would love to be in your group. Thank goodness for autocorrect. So I'm going to send that to her, and Callie will get an email that lets her know that I want to join the group, and she can either choose to allow me to join or not add me. Either way, she'll be able to add a custom message letting me know like the group is too full, so not at this time, or we're so excited to have you as part of the group. Either way, she can have access to be able to let me join that group. Once I'm added to this group, I'll be able to access any resources. I'll be able to subscribe to that calendar so that it can be on my personal calendar. And then I'll just be able to see all the other settings that are on there, potentially members and their information as well. Now, let me show you how an administrator can quickly set that up. Before you start setting up your groups, before you start adding them and jumping into all of that, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what type of groups do I want? What groups am I adding into this? A common question that we get is, can we add teams as a group? And the answer is absolutely, for sure you can do that. If you have a sports team or a missions team, if you've got a team of people that you want to track, you can definitely add them into groups. However, just as a caution, if this team is someone that helps a service happen, like a kids team that serves on Sunday mornings or a worship team that serves on midweek, you want to make sure and put those types of teams in services where all of those resources will help them be scheduled. But if you've got a team that you want to add, you're welcome to add that into groups. So once you know what groups you want to add into groups, then you want to manage your group types. Now, group types are just basically those groups smashed together. They all have some groups that have the same type of defaults, the same type of settings. You want to put them into a group type so that you're not managing those settings over and over again. So today I am going to make a group type for Sunday school. So we host classes before service on Sundays for people to learn more about the Bible. So that's what that description will say when people go to look at our Sunday school classes. I'm going to choose an orange color theme. Now this color theme doesn't show up on the Church Center side. It only helps on the administrator side. So it helps us see which groups are obviously Sunday school or small groups or Bible studies. It just gives an at a glance to see what groups are, what group type each group is. And then this groups list map I showed you earlier from the small groups page. If your groups in this group type are meeting in different places all over your community or city or state, then you want to make sure and enable this map view. For us, for our Sunday school groups, they only meet on Sundays at our church. So if I were to enable the map view, whenever someone clicked show map, it would have just one dot on there. So we don't necessarily need that. So I'm going to disable this. And I just realized I didn't finish typing this group type name. All right, so I'm going to save that. Here is my Sunday school group type down here. The next thing I want to do is manage the group defaults. Now, as I said before, when you create a group type, you can create the settings to where you don't have to redo that on every single group that's added to that group type. Now, that's what these default settings are for. They just kind of help us set all the settings that are going to be the same in each one of the groups, and then add the group and not have to do that every time. So, some basic settings. The meeting schedule is Sundays at 9 a.m. The location is our Carlsbad campus. We want people to contact our church with any questions that they have about Sunday school. And then our Sunday school classes are more about knowledge and learning about the Bible than they are about relationships. So it's not necessary for a member of a Sunday school class to be able to see somebody's photo, their email or phone number. But whenever you're joining a group, after you've joined, you kind of want to know who's there. So we're going to add someone's photo and their name for the leader and for the member. Now, if this was a type of group where you wanted to make sure that the group members had access to the group leader's information, you would definitely want to add email or phone number there as well. And then when someone joined the group, they would be able to access that information. For the enrollment settings, so our Sunday school classes happen in some of our classrooms on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. And they happen from January all the way through May, and that's when they end. So I don't really want to close the enrollment on a specific date. Whenever they end in May, the whole group will be closed. And then I don't ever want it to be to where someone can't attend one of these Sunday school classes, so I don't want to put a number on here. Now, if you do want to do those things, you can do these here. You would enable this, choose a date on the calendar, or enable this and choose a number. But what I do want to do is, I know my classes can only fit about 40 people. So I want to know when the membership exceeds 30. That way, if I know that people are going, if the room is about to be full, I can split the Sunday school class and have another room for it, or make whatever changes that I need to make. So I want to know when that happens. If a class does have more than 30 people in it, then what will happen is I'll receive an email as an administrator, and I can go in and make whatever changes that I need to make. And then the last setting for membership is whether or not we want to allow leaders to search the people database. If you check this box, then leaders, whenever they are adding people to their groups, can type in someone's name and get all the information, all of their contact information, and add them to the group. If that's not necessary for your groups, you don't necessarily need your group leaders to have that information, then you can leave this box unchecked. And what will happen is when they invite someone to the group, they'll need their email address to be able to invite them. That's the case with our Sunday school groups. We don't necessarily need them to search the people database in order to add people, because people will just come to this group. So we're going to leave that disabled. The other default settings that you can add on here are the event settings. And I want the event calendar to be listed, so when people go to look at an event, or a group rather, they can see all the events. Remember on that Swinney group, I could see that it was Sundays at 4 p.m. That helps a lot of people be able to know when it's happening. Now, if you add it to the meeting schedule, you don't necessarily have to have both enabled, but that's a setting that you can choose to add. And then I want our leaders to take attendance. They will receive a reminder email about taking attendance 10 minutes before their group begins, and then they'll be able to take attendance for those who show up. If a visitor comes, they can add them directly to that attendance whenever they're taking attendance. And then if that visitor eventually wants to become a member, they can promote them to a member from there as well. And then the last thing on this event's default settings is reminder emails. So I can choose to send a reminder email about every event that's happening for these groups if I want. This is good if a group doesn't meet very regularly, or if you're wanting to make sure that you have enough food or seating or carpool. You want to make sure to add a reminder email to people to the events, because what will happen is that a member will get an email letting them know this is coming up. They'll get it either 3 days before, 7 days before, or 10 days before. And they can choose to respond with, I'll be there, I will not be there, or I'm not sure. And then that RSVP will go to the group leader, and they'll know how to plan. I can show you what that email looks like later in this training. But I don't need these reminder emails to go out, so that is all of the group defaults I want to set for Sunday school. So I've created my group type, I've set the group defaults, and the next thing that I want to do before I add any groups is make sure that my tags are in place. So I'm going to go up to tags. Now, we saw this these tags earlier: the stage of life, the day of the week, the child care, the neighborhood. We saw all these tags earlier, and they just help us filtering. If you want to make sure that you can filter based on a whole bunch of different attributes, then you want to set those up as tags. So today I want to add a tag that will show if a group is weekly or monthly or varied, so that people know kind of what commitment that they're making. So I'm going to add a tag group. We'll call it regularity. And then I do want it to show up on the church center side. Now, if I was just creating filtering system on the admin side, then I could uncheck this to make sure that it doesn't show up on the church center side. So if you had a ton of groups that you were managing and you wanted to make it easier to manage them on the admin side, you could set up some tags that would help you filter down your groups list and to where you see less groups when you filter. And then this group can't belong to many tags. Stage of life could be junior high and high school, or college and young adult. So it could belong to many of those. But with regularity, it's weekly or monthly or varied. It can't really be all of those things. So this is going to be no. And then let's add, our tags: weekly, monthly, or varied. So that is how you add some tags. Now you have your group types, you've got your group defaults and your tags, and now it's time to create a group. So let's go back to the groups page. All right. We are going to add a junior high Sunday school group. So what I want to do is click this plus button. I'm going to enter the name, Junior High Sunday School. I'm going to make it a Sunday school group under that group type. Again, the reason why we want to make sure that we put it with this group type is because all of those settings that we just set up will be carried over into this group. So I can create. Now, the first thing that I want to do as an administrator, I want to do two things before I give access to the group leader. I want to make sure my tags are set up, and I want to make sure that it looks the way I want it to look on Church Center. So both of those things can be found in the settings. Again, like we saw earlier, we already set these things up. The meeting schedule is Sunday at 9, the location, I want an alert at 30, attendance reminder, event reminders, all of those things just carried over from the group types. That is so helpful. That way you don't have to do it on every single group. So again, it is so important to set up those group defaults first and then create your groups. All right, so we want to add our tags here. We set up one earlier. This is a junior high group, and it meets on Sundays. There's not childcare for it. And it's in our Carlsbad neighborhood, and it meets weekly. So that is all the tags. We've got them all set up. Again, so when people start filtering by some of these different tags, they're able to see this as one of the groups. And then the last thing that I want to do on the settings as an administrator is to check out this visibility and enrollment status. Now, your group page can be on Church Center, and that means it would be public, or it can just be private, and no one except for administrators and leaders can have access to it. If you wanted to create a whole bunch of groups and leave them all private, since that's the default, leave them all private until you're ready to go live with them, you can definitely do that. I'll show you how to do that from the groups page. But if you're creating these groups and then you're ready immediately to make them public, then you can do that as well. I'm going to just go ahead and make this one public. As far as group enrollment goes, there are 3 different ways that can be shown: closed, open, by requesting to join, or open sign up. Now, earlier, whenever I was on the Church Center side and I wanted to join the Swinney group, I clicked request to join. And that was because this group enrollment was set to request to join. So I clicked that, I entered my information with a message, and then the leader, Callie, received an email that said, "Hey, I want to join your group." And then she had an opportunity to add me or not add me. So that's what it looks like whenever you request to join. If it's an open sign-up group, when someone goes to the Church Center page, they'll either click or tap join immediately. They'll be added to the group right then. That's great, but we want to make sure that you understand what members have access to at that moment. If you choose to make it open sign up, then members can immediately see whatever you have set up under this member visibility. Now, again, this came from our group default, but if you wanted it to be different for each group, you can override that and change this setting. But what we have right here is the member can immediately see the name and photo of the leader and the name and photo of any other members. Now, if this security setting is good for you, then you can definitely create it to open sign up. But if you had this set to where they could see, a member could see email and phone number as well, you may just want to rethink that. Make sure that that's okay for the whole internet to have access to the leader's phone number and email address. In addition to the member visibility, they'll also be able to see the location. So if it's a public group, it meets in like a public location, sure, that's a great, leaving it as open sign up is totally fine. But if it's a private home, if it's a place that not everyone in the internet needs to have access to the address, then it's probably better to leave it as request to join. So again, those are the last two things that an administrator wants to set up. And I'm going to make this open sign up because it's at a public place and the member visibility options are set in a secure way. So again, we do say, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Just to let you know. All right, so as an administrator, the last thing that I want to do before I let go of this group and let it soar is add my leader. So I'm going to go to the members tab and I'm going to add James because he is our junior high leader. Now, when I add a member, it's going to ask me if I want to let the member know that they're being added. Because I'm about to add him as a leader, I don't need to let him know that he's being added as a member. So I'm going to add him as a member and then I'm going to make him a leader. And this time I do want to notify him. He'll receive an email that shows him what it looks like to access this group. Okay, so as an administrator, I'm pretty much done with this group. Like, I can let it soar. I can let the group leader come in and add the rest of the settings that they need to add. That makes it a lot easier for administrators to kind of get things set up and push them out the door. And it helps group leaders be able to set up the rest of the settings on their group so that they have a little bit more ownership of that group. So let's see what it looks like to be a group leader. Now I'm logged in as James here, and I can see the groups that he's in. I'm going to go to his communication tab, and I want to show you what that email looked like. Well, we'll show you a different email. You are now a leader. So this is what that email would look like. So it just says, and if it was in his email client, he would be able to open this email address and click this Go to Adult Sunday School, and it would bring him to the groups page to where he could log in and be able to add information to his group. But I'm already logged in as him, so I can just go straight up to my groups page. From here, I can see all the groups that James is a part of. He is the leader of these two groups, and I can tell that because his name and his picture are hovering over these, but he is not a leader of this group. He's just a member. He can still see that and make access information on there, but he can't make any changes to that group because he's just a member. So I also wanted to point out, can you see that these are all different colors? Again, that comes down to the group default theme color. And again, it only happens on the administrator side. So let me show you what it looks like to finish adding the settings to this junior high Sunday school group. Now I want to go straight to the settings. And again, as we said earlier, all of those group defaults have come over. Anything that administrators have added is still in the settings. And I want to upload an image. Let's do some junior high boys hanging out. So that will be the image that is shown on the Church Center side. And again, the location, all of that stuff is set up for us. And then the next thing that I want to make sure is on here is this leader display. Now, as the leader, I can kind of decide if I want my name to show up on the Church Center side or not. The administrator can also, they could set that setting, but I think it's good to have that in the leader's hands. So from there, from this setting, I can check that box and James's name will show up on the group, just like Callie's name showed up on the group. If I leave this box unchecked, then no one, you can't see who the leader is, which is fine. Either way, however you want to have your groups set up. But I want junior hires to know that James is the one leading this group, and so they should come because he's cool. And so I'm going to list the leader's name. Now the next thing, those are the only two settings that really the group leader needs to add. At that point, they can see, I've chosen the image that I want to add. I want my name to display publicly. And the next thing they want to do is create an event. Now from here, we'll click Create New Event, Junior High Sunday School. And we are meeting this Sunday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And this event will repeat weekly until the end of May. Again, the location is pulled over from those settings, so I don't have to set it every time. You see these reminder emails that you can set up if you want. And here is that event. So I'm going to create that. And you can see it on the events page. The next thing I want to do is add a resource. Now, there are different types of resources that you can add to groups, and you can add them to full group types as well. I want to add the Sunday school curriculum so that students can access it on their phones or from any other place. They don't just have to keep up with that paper copy. So, Sunday school curriculum. And I want it to be accessible to members. All right, so I've got that added. All of my members from the junior high Sunday school group can access those. And now this group is ready for people to join it. They can access it from the public group page. I can send this link to some of the people that I know that would want to join the group, and they can go there and just click to join it. So this group is good to go. Now I want to show you what it looks like for an established group. So this Hill Small Group is another group that James is a leader of, so I'm going to go to it. Now it looks like somebody has requested to be added to this group because, again, this group is a request to join group, which means I have to approve or add or don't add their membership. So I'm going to click Add. He said, I'd love to join your group. And I can choose to add the group as a member, add them as a leader, or don't add it to the group. And in any case, I can send an email to William. Send a customized message about how we're excited, what they need for the first meeting, anything like that you can add there. I'm going to choose not to send an email at this time. He's been added. Now, you can see all of the members here. You can see some of their information, their email address, their phone number if you need to get in contact with them. But I want to show you the event page. Now, this group has been meeting for quite a long time, and you can see that their events are on Mondays, and you can see that we have been asking them to RSVP. So as people RSVP, you can be able to see at a glance if they're coming, how many are not coming, and how many might be coming. And again, there's no response from 2. Now, I told you that I would show you what that looks like. When someone receives a reminder email, this is what it looks like. Hey, your group has an event in this many days. Just let us know if you're coming. I'll be there. I can't make it. I'm not sure. Again, if they open this in their email client, they'll be able just to tap or click one of those different things, different buttons, and they'll be able to let their group leader know if they're going to be there. So that's what a reminder email looks like. Let me show you what it looks like from this side. Now, if you know that some of these people are going or are not going, you as the group leader can make changes to their RSVP status. Now, I see right here that Jesse and Sam haven't yet responded. If I had a conversation, I can come here and I can change this. And if I change their response, then they will get an email that says your response has been changed to yes, that you will be attending this event. So I can make those changes if I want to. Also from this event page, I can resend these reminders. Now, they were automatically sent about 14 hours ago, but I can resend them. There are 3 different people who would receive these. Now, I could send it to anyone who hasn't received one. Remember how we added William to our group? He hasn't received a reminder email about this event because he was just added. So I can send him a reminder email right now. I could also send it to those 2 people, Jesse and Sam, who haven't yet responded. Or I could send an email to everyone who's going. Now, you might be looking and say that only shows 1 person. Well, here's the key of making sure that these emails go to the right people. They've got to have an email address. So make sure that your group members have an email address that you can send emails to them. So send to everyone who is going if there's specific information that you want them to know before they come to the event. All right, I'm not going to send one out necessarily right now, but you can do that. The last thing I want to show you on this page, on this established group, is the different reports. Now, the most important report, the one that we want to know about the most, is attendance. And from this attendance report, we can see the last 30 days, or you can change this filter to see whatever length of time that you want to access. I'm going to look at the last 3 months. Now, I can tell William Gutierrez is not, he is 0% because we literally just added him. So his first check mark will probably hopefully be this next Monday whenever he attends the small group. But you can see the rest of these percentages and be able to follow up with people if they've missed for lengths of time or if they're just not coming super consistently. So if you want to be able to follow up with them about their attendance, this is the place to be able to do it. So again, you can see when they've come, you can see if the event was canceled, and if there are any visitors to this group, then you'd be able to see when they visited for the first time. So that's what you can do as a group leader. There's a lot of different ways you can access things on your group. Now there's one more thing I want to show you. I'm going to get a drink first, and then we will be done with our training. Back on the admin side, I'm going to scoot back over there. I want to show you how you can filter your groups. Now, from the groups page, you can see that there are lots of different ways to see different groups. Right now, down here, we're looking at all of the groups. And again, you can tell we're looking at all the groups because of all the different colors. But if I wanted to look at just a certain group type, then I could go to those group types. And again, you can see all the colors changing. Ooh. So from all those group types, you can check those out. And then I'm going to go back to all groups because I want to show you what it looks like to filter. Now I can just show only archived groups that we've had in the past. I can filter by different stage of life, any of the tags that I've set up, and that way I can see what a customized view that matters most to me. Again, this is where do you want to show this on Church Center? Do you want to display this tag publicly? This is where that setting comes in, because if you want to be able to see just the groups that mean the most to you as an administrator, then you can set up a tag that will only show you those groups. So once you've got that filtered down to the way you want it to look, I'm going to actually go to the youth group types. Then I told you I'd show you how to make them all public at once. There's this setting right over here where you can make all of these groups public or private at the same time and open them all or close them all at the same time. So that's great for whenever you've created all of these groups, you've given group leaders permission and you're gonna launch them on your midweek service or your weekend service, and you want people to have access to them not any moment before, but by then. So then you can come here and click make all groups public. I'm gonna make them all public. And then now all of these can be accessed on the Church Center side. If they're open, then people can join them. If they're closed, then obviously they're just going to be viewed. So let's go ahead and make them all open. Request to join. So now all these groups are public and all of them are open, and we were able to see which ones that needed to happen to because of these filters. Now, last thing I want to show you is this people page. As the administrator, I know that groups is priced based on the number of active members in groups. So the default filter on this people page is all the active people. So I can see I have 170 people that are active, and that's what my pricing is based on. But I can filter this based on inactive people, any group types, leaders, members, administrators, any people who are attending groups that have specific tabs. I can filter this page to access those. And then once it's filtered the way that I want it, I can email them, print a list, or download a CSV file with that information. And then if I have another administrator I'd like to add, then I can add them by clicking Add Administrator. All right, that's groups. That is all of our groups product for Planning Center, and I am glad that you have joined us today. I showed you how members can access Church Center. I showed you how an administrator sets up a group, how group leaders manage their group, and then I even showed you a little bit of extra things that an administrator can do on the group's side. Again, if you have any questions, you can click that question mark in the top right of the product page to ask any questions or look for any of our helpful documentation, and subscribe to our blog. You can go to planning.center to subscribe to our blog or see any new updates that we have coming. Again, if you would like to share this training with a teammate, or you want to just come back and watch it later, maybe on double speed, then you can do that by going to our YouTube channel or to planning.center/university. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.